Today is May 10th. Welcome on in to Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com. Brought to you by Royal Banks of Missouri and Munganess St. Louis Acura. I am Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey and Rammer for the first time all year. We can talk about a winning streak. 3 games in a row now for the Redbirds. The Cardinals are coming, tra-la, tra-la.
Well, way too early for that, obviously, but nice. Playing some good ball against an okay team like the Cubs. You and I, the last couple of days, have talked about how much we like their lineup. The Cardinals have done some good things. The bullpen has been pretty good. The starting pitching has still been, I think, not disastrous, but more like we expected, that it'll be a battle. Joe, I think that we got to have a good start from Montgomery, not just to win, but to not burn out the bullpen. That's a real concern for me.
Yeah, Claibs and I were talking about it earlier today, and it kind of seems like right now Ali Marmol, and it's something he has used previously last year, kind of an A and a B bullpen. Yeah. He's got these set guys for one night, these set guys for another night, and we've seen that go the past 2 nights, and it's worked so far. He's won 2 games in a row now using the bullpen in that manner. And so I imagine tonight it goes back to the Ryan Helsley closer role for things with Drew Verhagen and Genesis Cabrera and Jordan Hicks all in the mix there. Which I guess Verhagen didn't pitch, hasn't pitched. Did he pitch? I'm trying to think back if he pitched Monday or not, or if we've gone without Verhagen since. Okay, so. But yeah, you go back to that, and the Cardinals look to pick up their first series sweep of the year. Also, should be noted, they're facing a lefty tonight in Justin Steele. So we know how good the Cardinals have hit lefties as of late, and a much nicer day in Wrigley than the previous 2 days, especially Monday night's game. Yeah. So as the temperature starts to rise, so does Paul Goldschmidt's slugging percentage.
Yeah, that tends to be the case. For a couple of years, for several years, he would come out with a notoriously slow start. That hasn't been the case the last 2 years, and this has really been a very good start for Goldie, based on what he normally does in his career. So maybe that's a harbinger of maybe another terrific MVP type season.
I should have started with this before we moved on to tonight's game, but wanted to talk. You mentioned starting pitchers needing to go deeper into games. Jack Flaherty last night, again, struggled a little bit in the game, but powered through for the most part, and had an interesting post-game media scrum in his locker room, or in his locker. I'll read you Jeff Jones kind of transcribed everything, and he said, the next time somebody wants to mention the velocity on my fastballs, I'm not going to answer that question. Like, I'm going to play with the velocity of my fastball based on what the game calls for. I can get outs if I need to get outs at 95. I'm going to play with it. I've always played with it. I've thrown freaking fastballs at 87 before in games when I've been my best. He goes on to say that basically that it's a part of pitching, and if you have to ask about it, you don't understand the art of pitching. It seems like a lot of this Cardinal pitching staff, both coaches and pitchers now, things that when they goes with the Wilson Contreras situation, it's all stuff we don't understand, Rammer.
Well, and that's a defense mechanism. We've seen it ever since we were little kids. Well, if you don't know, I can't tell you. Yeah. We've seen that on the schoolyard back in the 6th grade, right? So, very defensive. And it got a little contentious between Flaherty and media members. I think he's a guy that's frustrated, and sometimes when we're frustrated, we can act a little bit immature. I thought the members of the media could have helped calm things down, but that's not their job. So they don't want to. I don't blame them. I can go back 30 years ago, 35 years ago, when John Tudor used to torture media members. The famous, what does it take to get a media credential, a driver's license? The difference was he was en route to winning 21 games and was slicing up every hitter in the National League It's a little different when you're struggling. And I think this all really goes back to struggle, whether you're talking about pitchers frustrated with catchers, catchers frustrated with preparation, managers frustrated with outfielders. It comes down to lack of performance and reacting to it.
Which by the whole driver's license thing, I mean, I just had Marisek on my show last week. We were telling Shannon stories, and he was telling me how he was credentialed at the age of 10 to go into the Cardinal locker room. So I don't know. I think even a driver's license wasn't needed back 35 years ago. Yeah, unless you know people, I guess.
That's funny. Tudor probably would let him ask the questions.
So the Cardinals, we don't have the lineups yet. No bootlegging lineups for you yet tonight. As still 3 hours before game time. I'm surprised the lineups haven't trickled out just yet. But against the lefty, what was that?
We were going to say the same thing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, I think we're going to see the heavy right-handed lineup that we usually see when this is out here. I would imagine Edman leads off, and you kind of take it from there. So, which left-handed hitting outfielder gets the start? Is it going to be Nootbaar or is it going to be Donovan?
Well, I think you might be right about Edman. In fact, I think I'll call it an even money bet. Nootbaar's been so good and really good against lefties, limited sample size, admittedly. I think they might leave that. That'll be an interesting call. The other thing is, if I was betting, first of all, let me say this. I wouldn't do this, but I think Gorman and Donovan will sit and Edman and Yepez will play.
You know what's funny is this is how little he's been used since he's been called back up. And I know we even talked about him yesterday. Completely forgot that Juan Yepez is on this 26-man roster right now. I
wouldn't do it. In fact, I'd have him in the minors, and I've had Mercado up here to sit the bench and play center field when I needed it. They're wasting away these guys. I think it's bad baseball. That's a topic for another day. I would play Donovan and Gorman. I know Donovan can hit lefties because he has. I don't know if Gorman can, but guess what? Nobody else does either because they don't let him. What is he, 0 for 7, 0 for 9, something like that? That's not enough to make a determination from a guy who could end up being your best hitter. Now, I know he's only 22. You don't want to get him overwhelmed.
23 today. Happy birthday to Nolan Gorman, actually.
That's right.
23 years old today. Yeah.
He and Frank Cusimano are both 23.
Is today Frank's real birthday? Because I know there's been dispute about what day of the year it is in years past. Okay.
Yeah. Well, when he came off the island to make the club, he had lied about his age. So I think Gorman and Donovan should play, but I don't think they will. I think you're right. It'll be Edman and Yepez.
The Gorman situation is one, if he's going to be your best hitter at the age of 23, he needs to be, if he's hitting third against righties and seventh against lefties, there you go. Have at it. I mean, I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not comparing the two of them right now. Bryce Harper wasn't sitting out against every time they faced a lefty during his third year in the big leagues. So, they put him in there every single day, and unless you're facing just some top of the line guy, then you're going to bet, with that. But, Justin Steele is not good enough to say, okay, hey, you know what? We need to sit you today.
Now, before we get into a faux outrage and go all Mad Dog Russo, we could be wrong. He could be playing tonight. So we'll just see what happens. But my prediction is they'll go Yepez, Edman.
As I hit the refresh button one more time, Rammer, on Twitter to see if there is a lineup out. I do not see a lineup out yet for the Redbirds amongst all of our media friends who are still up in Chicago. And I hit refresh on my go-to website for that too. No Cubs lineup out yet either for the game today. So we will. You're on your own, folks that are listening and viewing to find out what the lineup is for.
By the way,
tonight.
Paul DeYoung, terrific night last night. He and Nootbaar were the stars of the game, and very impressed with play from both of those guys. And really, everybody in the lineup contributed something.
I'm going to say this. I know I said it yesterday on the show. I said it earlier with Claves as well. ever since Friday, when they handed the starting catcher job and said, hey, you are our only catcher right now that's going to play since Friday night, you have seen you saw a home run by Kisner in the game on Friday, had a hit on Saturday, 2 hits, 2 doubles on Sunday, and then again last night, 2 more doubles. So he has raised his average. Friday night went into the game with a 138 batting average. It's now up to 217 on the year. So Andrew Kisner has a little confidence boost right now, knowing that he's going to play every single day as opposed to every 5th or 6th day now.
And how about him throwing out Cody Bellinger to the point that Bellinger didn't even slide?
Yeah. Yeah, and that, by the way, speaking of throw out and plates to plate, did you happen to see the play last night, the Mariners-Rangers game, the play at the plate from last night? Ball came into home. The bat, there was a play at the plate. The bat was sitting in front of home plate about 5 feet up the third base line. Ball hit the bat, bounces over the catcher's head. Guy would have been dead to right at home plate. Catcher never moved the bat out of the way. Yeah.
You need to clip that off and show your little ball club.
You know what? That might be happening here in about an hour, because we're headed to another game today. So
that logo again.
That's right. Yeah, right there.
What, the Bluebirds?
Blue Jays. Blue Jays. Yep. Yeah, so heading to that game for now. But Rammer, that's going to do it for our show today. I'm going to hit refresh. I think we've killed enough time trying to get that lineup. I hit refresh one more time. Didn't happen. So with that being said, how about a word from our friends at Royal Banks?
Royal Banks of Missouri, where better service means better banking. 60 years, actually more than 60 years in the metro area. An expansion east, west, and north. Everywhere you go, you find a Royal Banks branch that feels like your hometown bank. 314-212-1500, Royal Banks of Missouri.
He is Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. We will be back tomorrow. Talk about the Cardinals sweep. Get you ready for the upcoming series in Boston. Cardinal off day tomorrow as they ship up to the Northeast for a 3-game weekend series against the AL East. And we will have all of that preview for you coming up here in the next few days here on Claibs Online. We are brought to you each and every day by Bootleg and Tavern, Royal Banks of Missouri, and Munganast St. Louis Acura right here on Daily Cards Live, only on ClaibsOnline.com.
At St. Louis Acura, we have over 150 new Acura models in stock or on the way in April. Like the 2023 Acura MDX, get $1,500 in loyalty cash when you buy, or you can lease the MDX starting at $599 a month. Earn $1,000 loyalty cash on the 2023 Integra, RDX, or TLX. Or you can save over $3,500 on our large selection of Acura courtesy vehicles. St. Louis Acura, better than ever for you.